Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Mortgage Ballers. This is Rich Hanlin. I have the legend, Michael Radcliffe, out of AZ, if I remember it right.
Yes, sir.
All right. Arizona not getting cooked. It's been about a year because, Michael, were you number one last year?
Uh,
Or 2 years ago?
23. Yeah.
23. I mean,
23.
one of our top people but has also been a number one. Here we are with 623.26 originators as of this morning. And, when you start saying that you're number one, top 10, top 20 in those kind of platforms, you might want to take a second, turn off all your distractions, and just pay attention to a conversation, because anytime you can hold down a top performing originator for 5, 10, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you're crazy if you do not take advantage of that. And today you have the legend himself, Michael Radcliffe. Thanks for coming back to the show. And you don't rest. I mean, people don't realize Michael Radcliffe's in charge of the Rad CRM. He's also a top originator. He's in, how many states you guys in?
I'd like to count that, but I mean, we're California to Rhode Island to Washington. We've got to be in at least 30 states. At least.
Right on. Here's a question for you. Like loan side, do you guys have, I have to have all these licenses. When it's software like that, do you have to have licenses in every single state? Or
no?
Okay, I always wondered.
That's the beauty of it. I know. Compliance is very different. Rest doesn't exist.
I'm amazed how hard they make. Every state's separate and they all want theirs. I'm like, God, can we just tell me how much money you want and let me just go? Because that's all you want is money. And then they try and justify it. I'm like, I know what you want.
Yep.
Pay to play is what they want to do. Interesting times out there right now. I'm not going to go off of any type of script with you. I like to freelance it. Talk to me right now. You're out in Arizona. What's the market look like to you in Arizona right now?
Yeah, and just to point on that as a preface, this is totally organic. We didn't prep questions. I prefer it this way.
Me too.
Just off the cuff. It's a lot of fun. Market is busy still. It's been pretty busy. Obviously, as everyone else's prices are going up. So I'm in Mesa, so I'm probably 20 minutes or so from Phoenix.
Okay.
But it's an extremely popular market, but we do loans anywhere from Mesa, Phoenix, all the way to the west side of the valley, up north every now and then, down south in Tucson. But it's really good. Despite the rates and where they're sitting at, it's really good. And I will tell, and I know we'll get into this a little bit more, but the market doesn't dictate your success. Don't ever let the market think, oh, rates are high. It doesn't matter. It's
said that before.
It's what you do. So
I think our top originators, they all echo that in some sentiment the same way. They're like, I wake up and I do it, and I have to get creative sometimes where maybe I don't do 2-1 buy downs. Now I do hey, sellers, let me educate you. What's holding me back? Your buyers? Oh, they're sitting on the fence till 5.5. Cool, I got that. You have 5.5? Absolutely. Let me show you how we get it. And right now there's not 40 other buyers competing for that house, so the seller's going to help us get there. Where if they wait for 5.5, there's going to be 40 people competing against them, and they're not going to get any help.
Overpriced, wave appraisals. There's pros and cons to every market. You're exactly right.
I'm seeing the expertise come in with the ability to hear. We all hear, right? Hey, what's holding you back? But when people answer that with their generic response, oh, rates are too high. What I find is my top earners, my top producers, I mean, that's just the opening of a door, and then it's like, great. I knew you were going to say that because everybody says that, but let's unpeel that a little more. And I think people start to have a different experience versus, a shop that just burns and turns and sells rate, and, they just want to make calls all day. They're not looking for clients for life type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, people, loan officers forget that you're running a business.
Yeah.
It is not a 9-to-5 job. It is a business. You're never off.
Okay.
Don't sign up if you're not wanting to. Yeah. And you know what, Rich? And I'm not going to sit here and plug the CRM in, but I can't help but tell you that it has been so fascinating to talk to LOs across the country and see all sorts of different business models.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it is so, I can't tell you how interesting it is, man. It's, I've seen all sorts of different ways that people run things. From great ways to how the heck are you still in business ways, right?
Sure.
But I think that the biggest difference is like the LOs who come on board and they have a certain production and there's just a different vibe. there's two different things. They're more positive and energetic. They seem more attractive.
Sure.
And then the other part is that the insides of their business is a machine. Like they have assistants and processors. They're not afraid to invest. The second someone says to me, trying to think of an example, hey Mike, you anything closing gifts? Yeah, it's $50. I don't know. It's like the second they worry, I can tell you what their production is. As judgy as that sounds, Rich, it's like, don't be afraid. I had a call yesterday with a lady who has her process is a gift at pre-approval. Mm-hmm. I believe she does a gift at CTC and post-closing 6 months after. They're going to think, add that cost up. Sure. You look at her production, she doesn't care what the cost is. Right. Because she's running a client. They're not customers.
Sure.
They're clients. Very big difference, customer and client.
Big difference. You know, I'm been enjoying this guy, Dan Martell, Buying Back My Time, I think is his current book. But it's just very interesting. He's done very well. He's a $100 million earner, you know, very successful. But he's figured out his time. But, you know, he says people come up to him all the time. They see a car he drives or success he's had and said, man, how did you do it? And he's like, well, that's not really the question. Like, what do you do for a living to do it? It's not, no, I think you need to understand it's what I don't do. I don't waste time in directions that are not on course to what I'm trying to accomplish. And I get rid of the distractions and I invest. I don't take on employees. I invest in myself to reduce myself from doing certain tasks, which take away from my higher end tasks. And it's just interesting. We're really going to be pushing that. So off the record, I guess it's on the record if you're recording it. I've been behind the desk for 3 years, you know, since we opened this place up. We just hit 3 years and we're in our 3 years and 1 month. And I've told her, we all got together in our annual ownership meeting. I'm like, we have too many people concentrating on this side. The company's up. It's running. We're going. You guys love this side. I love this side. I want to get out from behind the desk. I want to get doing videos. I want to get people past their fears. I want to help our best become better. I want to help our least of the best learn how to do it like the best. We don't need 600 more loan originators. Sure, I think they're going to come, but that's not the focus. I want to focus on the people that have already said, I want to be part of Xpert. Those are two very vast people.
Yep.
I want my energy for the people that are here. Bring in the top people to explain what's working in the market, interview more top producers, and just keep flooding them with value until they start to learn the magic ingredients, which when I go back to all those top best of the best last year and the year before, I can see common ingredients of successful originators. They all do it a little different, but I mean, the market does not defeat them ever. And a rate is just a conversation. It's like, are you trying to buy a house or are you trying to buy a rate? Are you trying to put your family in a safer area or are you trying to make the renter, the landlord rich? Which one, where are we going? You know, they talk different.
Yes. I used to be that LO. I'd look at rates every day. Where they at? Are they low? And at that point, I was like, who cares? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, am I providing good service? Do they want to buy a home? All right, let's get you a home. And we'll talk about refinancing in the future and what their plans are. Does this budget work for you? If it doesn't, it doesn't. But yeah, man, just like focus on you and your people. And when I say you, let me just elaborate on that. Not from a selfish standpoint, focus on you internally so that you can be better performers to your clients, if that makes sense. So you're only looking at yourself to improve others. It's a selfish way of looking at yourself. You mentioned a few times, I want to touch on this. This is so valuable. I'm not saying, me value, but dude, listening to top producers there's people that charge you $1,000 an hour to get that information.
Sure.
And when so in 2019, I left the credit union world after 7 years. I started from scratch. I did not bring my CRM over. I literally was like, I'm going to start this over and try it out. And I sat down with a guy, Nate. He's still my mentor. He's the coolest guy. Dude is insane. He does so much. Oh my gosh, there's so much business. Over 100 million himself. Like, it's incredible. Wow. And so I sat down, the first thing I did, and no one told me to do that. I just knew, like, I just get it. If someone's better than me, why would I not listen to them? There's no point in reinventing the wheel. It's cheating, really. So I went to Nate's office and Ryan's office, and I sat down with the pen and paper, and I said, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing to get business? And everything he said was liquid gold to me, Rich. Liquid gold. I didn't question a thing. I was like, you're doing da-da-da-da. I'm back to my office. I had a whiteboard, and I mapped out, and I did what they did. Like, again, it's like, I think of Tiger's swing, you know, the joke of why do you break it? He was winning almost every PGA Tour. He changed it, and things are different. Don't break what's not broken.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, for you listeners, write notes down. Get motivated. Listen to more of his podcasts. Like, it is so, so valuable. And what I tell people when I do coach LOs, don't question it. Just trust the process. If they did 50 loans last year and you want 50, then do what they did. Right? Not rocket science.
The biggest world that we can cheat in is the loan world, because nobody's really hiding what they're doing. But I have people that still fight it. And I'm like, how about this? How about you copy that person's success so that we can see how their methodology works in your world, but then we can tailor it. But, you know, when you try and tailor it right out of the chute and say, well, I wouldn't do it that way. And I'm like, oh my Lord, just sit down, put your seatbelt on, and enjoy the ride.
Yeah, yes. That's it. Yeah. So there's a girl on Xpert who I've been coaching. I had a few students, and she was the best student because, and ironically, Rich, she had the most production.
Wow.
And the best phone call I got was when she called me and she's like, I'm making more money than my husband now. And I was like, that's freaking awesome. But like, she just do it. It wasn't like, well, Mike, what about this? I was like, hey, here's your week. Calling this. She's like, okay. It was like, okay, no question. Almost the point I was like, are you sure? Right. But that's the attitude that you have to have. And of course, you'll incorporate yourself. You're not mimicking their personality. Be Rich, be who you are, but follow their tactics and just let it happen. Just let it happen and be consistent.
You know, people they keep asking me, like, how did you get to where you're at and stuff like that? I'm like, why don't you go watch some of my interviews, some of the people I hang out with on a daily basis?
Yeah.
You know, the Michael Radcliffe, the Catherine Barnett, the Amanda Rawls, the Brandy Stevens. You know, we got, for the first time, we're getting ready to have a legend, with Stephanie Gilbert is gonna, we're gonna get into her mind, and her time is of the essence. Anybody that doesn't take a moment to listen to one of the top loan officers in the nation, number one in our company by 51 loans over the number two.
Let me touch. So goosebumps, man. I love Stephanie. Her team is incredible. So
yes,
I've had the opportunity to fly out to her office.
Oh yeah,
and
I didn't know this.
So cool. We spent 2 days of training for the CRM and looked at her business, and I was like, man, I am beyond impressed, but also not surprised. Like, it was the same processes that needed to happen, but you know what? She was so consistent. So, and here's something I'll touch on, Rich, and I believe this is the most important tool any LO can possess, and that is care. Mm-hmm. You could say care or love. It's cheesy, but Stephanie legitimately cares for her clients. I mean, you hear her talk, Rich, you think she's talking to her best friend or her mom. Right. People have said that about myself as well, and I don't say that for attention. It's just, if you can just genuinely care. I mean, you're helping people that we all have problems, man. We all have struggles. They could have addictions they're fighting through. Like, they could have a loss of family. You have no idea what they're showing internally. So don't look at it as a dollar sign or a number. This is a human being. And it is pretty amazing. It is magical how that transforms that relationship. And I think Stephanie is the best at that. I mean, her clients love her to death, not because she closed fast, Rich, not because the rate was low, because she had such tender care for each person. So if I had one thing to tell you that you have to possess this, it's that. Have that genuine care for your clients.
No, that's, people understand this is a top producer talking about another top producer, because we can all get really, in awe when we're all the way at the bottom. I'm 626, the anchor out of the group of 626. So everything looks upward. But when you're sitting in that top 20 and you're understanding one deal per month is 12 for the year. And that's really all that separates. We got a lot of people who are separated by 1 or 2 deals for the whole year.
Yep.
And so, and they all do it a little bit different. Evan Kaufman, he'll be on here. Thomas Harris. Not sure how much you know about him.
Yes.
He was an average LO, got some coaching, and now he's building a team because he has too much business. And every month he pushes, Rich, where am I at? Where am I? Like, because, and I get it. And I'm going to get even better at that recognition because it's exciting when you're putting processes into place and you want to see how it's comparing in the results. But he is not the same person I met a couple of years ago at Answer Home Loans, my old company, where he came under somebody like you.
Came from Answer. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then he came this way. He was still just that average LO, but still plugging away in a tough market in California. And then he got some coaching and lit a fire. And now what most people think, but yet it's in grinding them daily. I'm going to make those 25 calls to realtors. I'm going to do this, 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 and this. And I do it every single day. And the results start happening. It's pretty cool. We're going to get him on here. He's one of our interviews.
Oh, Thomas, I have nothing but respect for that kid. He's the man. He is the definition of surrender. Definition. Because it's not that he loses confidence in himself or pride. He just understands. And that dude surrendered to the processes. And yeah, it's so cool to see that guy grow. And I'll tell you, and I probably brought this up in the last podcast, so I apologize if I did, but I had a lady I was speaking to. I think she was from Xpert. Won't name drop. But she's like, how did you do your business? And I said, well, I get that question. It's a common question, right? You've said it already a few times. Sure. And I told her, she said when I finished? Swear to you. She said, okay, what'd you actually do though? And I said, seriously? And she's like, yeah, what'd you really do to get? And I said, I'm not kidding. Like you're looking at it's, I told her, what I told her, Rich? I said, I was at my 3 C's: communication, connection, consistency. That's my law. And I communicate like crazy. I connect on a human level, and I do those 2 things more consistent than most is what I tried to do. And so I told her I was calling all the time, closing gifts, cars, and it's things that she's heard over and over and over, but she's never done them. So she was thinking, oh, listen, I buy leads here on this website. You're going to crush it. Like, call this guy. Like, it doesn't exist. There's no shortcuts.
There's a secret. What's the secret, dude? The secret behind the secret.
Yeah. I'll pay you $1,000. Yeah.
No, anytime I needed business, I always went back in, and because you can get free, value estimations from UWM, from the value estimator. And anybody that I could see that there might be something there, just like, hey, I just want to give you an update, especially if it was positive, like, hey, your value's here. Just wanted to let you know that here's things you can do with that higher value. Should you get to that point, I would create an idea of a conversation. Mm-hmm. If I send about 50 of those out a month to past people, I would get calls back. People are waiting, but they'd say, hey, what's, because they will open my email because there's trust there. And they know I'm not selling them anything. Sometimes it's just, hey, you made a great decision to buy. Remember how scared you were? You just now have $15,000 worth of equity according to this. You have stepped out when most people are right there. Some people stay for fear, and some of the people just say, you know what? I'm going to take that one step. I mean, you've done that as an entrepreneur too, which I think we start to, I'm not afraid of the failure. I'm afraid of not trying.
Yes.
More.
Dude, my biggest fear, my biggest fear ever, Rich, to seriously death, is not reaching my full potential, of dying, looking back and like, oh my gosh, I had 70, whatever years I live, I could have done this. It's like a nightmare to me. And so I love that you said that.
One of the nightmares I have is 400 different logins with all these lender states, all these, and I think,
yeah,
and they're all different. I have this nightmare of, what are my logins? That comes up all the time. That tells me my mind goes in.
That's normal.
It's normal, but it's, I'm amazed. And this one thing I want to ask you, because you're into the next generation of what I think things are going to. Talk to me about your thought processes on where AI is going to fit into this.
Oh, man. I have a lot of thoughts on that. So I personally think AI has a long way to go But when it arrives, it's going to completely change everything, in some good and some bad, Rich.
Sure.
Just like anything. Internet's amazing, but internet's also used for some terrible things. So I think AI, and especially for mortgages, Rich, because this is such a emotionally invested transaction and there's no emotion in AI, if that makes sense. So it's very hard to manufacture that. But on a large scale, it is coming, and this isn't even, it hasn't even started, if you ask me. I think people think, oh, AI is out and this, no, it hasn't even begun. It's going to be refined so much. Watch this, 5-10 years. It's going to be scary what it does.
Yeah.
I think
of it.
Yeah, but I think right now though it's so infant, if that makes sense, and it's very hard. Put it this way: it takes a lot of labor to articulate that AI to work for you. Whereas AI in our minds is automatic, just do it, and it's not there yet. But there will be a time where you can click a button, and that AI just knows Rich Hanlin, adjusts to that personality, and goes to town, and that's going to be freaky.
Where AI was 2 years ago, 1 year ago. How detailed you can get with ChatGPT to ask it to do something and interact. I got Brandy Stevens or Joanna Perry. I think it's Joanna Perry. She uploads full FHA guidelines, 8,000 pages. And now she can ask specific questions through ChatGPT that gets her answers really quick. She's developing her own intranet, I guess, by having these variations. We saw UWM do that with their AI chat. And, it learns all the different ways we ask these similar questions.
Right.
Now we can do it in multiple languages on the spot. I'm most excited about it, but that's where I see something that doesn't sleep. And this is what I was going to say about it. I'm old enough to remember when people used to write checks for their groceries at the grocery store because they knew on Wednesday they'd get paid on Friday. There'd be this float period. Then it was same-day transactions, same-day availability. And then it became an ATM card. What do you mean slide this plastic card that can go into my account? Oh, that's too much control. But yet we had to get used to it. Electronic payments, cryptocurrency. It's all new, but we're slowly getting used to it. And I think AI is going to find its way in. Yes. And that avatar you're talking about that maybe doesn't have any emotions, my fear with that is people are just going to become numb to that.
Yes.
But it's the negotiation that I don't think an avatar can do well.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great point. And I think, two schools of thought on this. Those who are pumped and passionate about this bit should relish in the opportunity to not be lazy. Let me explain that, okay? Look, how long have credit cards been out? 80 years, whatever it is, like how long it took for us to be not even subconsciously use my card and I just throw it,
Sure.
But it took a while to get there. Arizona has an LSU form. I hate it, but you send it every Friday or whatever.
You do. And what does that stand for?
Loan status update. Yes. Yep. So it's a good thing. It shouldn't be negative. Yeah, it's a good thing. If you took 100 agents, let's narrow it down, 20 agents in Arizona, I bet you money, Rich. And you said, how many of you guys get LSUs? Maybe one, swear to you, maybe one would say I get them consistently. I love that because I send it every single week. You know how many agents I've gotten from doing that?
Right.
So the same thing, Rich, communication is becoming a lost art. It is very wise for us to see that and do the opposite because you're just going to stand out more. Let everyone else fall. Let them be lazy. Let them do it and stand out. It's easier. Think about if everyone was hustlers, really hard to out-hustle. But because that's not the case, so with AI, I think the same thing could happen, Rich. You're right. Communication will diminish even more. Emotion will diminish even more. It's going to be a lot different. It is more and more opportunity. Going back to rates, it doesn't matter where the market's at. Let people sit in their fear. Take it as an opportunity. There's always opportunity where there's fear.
Okay, Warren Buffett.
I know. I did that. I made that up.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. how's the market in Arizona? I think we figured out, we were going through our states. I think Colorado was number 2, Texas number 3, Washington number 4, and then I think it was Arizona, which I would have expected. I mean, it's right in there close. But we have, I mean, if we're in 44 states, but probably 7 of those states get 90% of the business.
Yeah.
And that's without California even been full array, even though we have the most licensed loan officers in the state of California and the highest presence of loan originators in California. The numbers get a little crazy, but that's something I heard the other day, and you might have saw this too, that in the last 4 years, we've gone from 430 licensed originators to 93,000 originators that we're down to nationwide. Did you see that the other day?
No, huh?
Yeah, I think Amanda Rawls or somebody, I think 2 people posted it because they were showing that like right now today. And I heard something last year that like only 28% of total real estate agents closed a transaction.
Oh, dude, yeah. There's a lot of, if you look at my realtor list, half of them I get maybe 1 conversation a year. And I've had some actually reach out to me, do you have any leads? Which is kind of sad, to be honest. I'm like, I don't. I mean, and honestly, if you do, you're going to send to your highest producer anyways.
All right.
But it's like, no, I don't. And I've had a few calls. It's the same with LOs too. I mean, it's hard to hack it. It takes a lot of guts, man.
Well, I'll tell you this. I've changed, Yell Fowler, one of our originators. He started changing his strategies. A lot of people go, let's talk about first-time home buyers. Let's concentrate on one specific program that gets more buyers. And I thought, and he told me what he had did, and I've been using it now, doing some speaking and stuff like that here in Georgia. But I get in front of realtors and I say, you guys know your areas. All of you have your special areas that like back of your hand. You know value when you see it. You know what the rents are. You're constantly looking that for somebody else. Let me show you, in these tighter times, one of the best customers I have consistently is myself.
Yeah.
I buy a house, I do a loan, I refinance, I do different things. Like, do you have a portfolio? Do you even have your first rental property? Because by going through that first rental property, you now open up a whole new world. Investors are always looking for value in any market. Yep. And I've changed that and said, let me explain the DSCR loan to you, that I can get you into a house and boom, all of a sudden you're the realtor on it. You get a huge commission back right after it closes. You can get the seller to help pay closing costs. You can do so many things, and you have a license to participate in that special transaction. Don't think you have to always go get clients. And I do this with loan officers too, and that's where I'm going to be pushing. Why does not every single loan originator have a rental property? I mean, we do it. We make all these people, these investors, quazillionaires, but we don't do it for ourselves. And some of these people, I mean, I don't know about your clients, but my people that do investments, man, as soon as they get money, they're rolling the next one.
Yeah,
they're rolling the next one. How fast can I get them? And now with me being in other markets, my California people can buy 2 or 3 properties in, from Georgia to Alabama to Tennessee to Arkansas, because you can get the same brand new house if you're worried about value and construction. D.R. Horton's here and there. And it's like, I can say model 1102, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, same exact model. Go look at it. I can get that for $225. You're paying $605.
Yeah.
Do you want to buy 3? Have your realtor call this person. I'll get the DSCR's loan, and you're going to be cash value, because the rent ratio in some of these states is amazing when you get off the coast sides. How's Arizona's market for rentals and good things like that?
It's good. It's good. We have a couple of realtors that I work with that are flipping like crazy right now. He's crushing it. Yeah, it's good. Like I said, there's always opportunity. It's just, it's how busy do you want to be? It's your choice. You only fire yourself. No one else can fire you. And so
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, it's going really good. It's cruising. It's not slow by any means. Mm-hmm. And people are buying. I mean, I get pre-quals. They're generally getting a contract in a month or so. It's pretty quick. Yeah, it's not too bad. I was going to mention one thing you were talking about as far as, you're talking about the rentals and opportunity and slow times, etc. the regret is going to be so painful for a lot of this market when rates drop. They're going to be wishing. And Rich, I did the same thing. When 2020 happened, I was like, man, I'm an idiot. Like I should have had so many more, letters going out and da-da-da. So just all in the same lines, take that time. Come on, improve your business, talk to your clients. They will do a transaction again. They will. It's not if. So stay in touch, be in front of them, take the time to write those letters, those gifts, etc. Invest in your business. You'll be so happy you did when this market turns around full-fledged.
No, that's I hope people understand. I know they'll see it. By the way, I think your video where we did Rad CRM is one of the most popular videos on Mortgage Ballers, if I remember right.
Literally all the time. I get demo calls and then they're like, I saw you on the I'm like, seriously? It's like, oh, now I'm used to it. But over time, I was like, wow, like, how'd you find it? And they're like, I just Googled like, Rad CRM or whatever it was. So it's pretty cool.
No, and that's what it's designed to do. That's what these videos, they all interlink together. We get the backlinks. We put all your links into yours, and then it turns over on itself. But here's a sad thing. I put an offer out to 623 loan originators last Friday and said, I want to do an interview with you. Obviously, the best of the best, without a doubt. But I said all the way down the line, even if you've been here a day.
Wow.
And people are like, oh, my God, this is going to be a lot. And I said, nope, because watch what's going to happen.
And
so 138 have taken me up on it.
What is that, a fifth?
Yeah.
Sixth?
I mean, people, you know what, Rich, I want to lose a little bit of weight. I don't look good on camera. I don't know what to say.
No,
and I'm like,
stop. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Let me interview you. I'm going to
wish I had more hair, Rich. I wish I had more hair. It's like it doesn't matter.
I wish mine wasn't so gray and all that stuff.
Just do it, man. Just jump in. So, okay, on that same note, but going back to the girl I coached, it was a pretty cool moment. She, this is probably December or November. And I was like, you got to call. You got to call agents. I'm sorry. You have to do it. You have to go to their offices. So she did. And about a couple hours later, she's crying. And she's in, emotional pain. And she's like, this sucks. I was like, I know. I was like, but you got to trust the process. And most people stop and take a break. She pushed through and booked 3 coffee appointments. Okay. I was so dang proud of her. So like on that same thing, like, yeah, we all have imperfections. Like and when you lose that weight or whatever you're needing, there's going to be more things that you'll never solve all of them. What you can solve is what's inside and what actions you take.
Well, I just realized it in watching you. Has anybody ever said that you look like Mark Zuckerberg?
No. No.
You guys kind of look alike.
Oh, that's funny. Like, I'll take that as a compliment.
Secretly, I've got Meta on the other end.
I know. That's funny, dude. No, I haven't had that before. No.
Nope. Michael, it's always good to grab time with you. What I'm going to throw this at you is there's going to be some events that I'm going to be putting together across the nation in 2025 to get to our larger areas of loan originators. And anybody can always come, but when you go into an area that you've got 100, 150 people, 200 people, it's a little easier than setting it all up where I have 2 people. And then we have lenders will come side us, UWM, different ones that want to come in and help sponsor those. But we can bring in value add speakers. Rad CRM is one of those. But on top of it, that's what's missing with some of the things that are out there. Hey, this person is really good at software, but he's never originated a transaction. So does he really know the touch points? That's not you. You are a top originator. You fully understand it. You built something. And this had nothing to do with the CRM, but it's just a good segue. When you can find those things that marriage together like that, buy an originator, buy a real estate agent, buy a producer that knows what it's like out there.
Yeah.
And they found a way to help with the pain points. You might want to at least go listen to it. You might want to at least take a free video. And I'm not selling anything for anybody. I just know that we talked a year ago about this thing called Rad CRM. And you said, Rich, I built it because I wanted it exactly the way I would want it done. And we talked about the automation on it and things like that. The follow-up, how it takes stuff off you. Your time, when you add up all the money you make from all the different sources, is worth so much per hour. And anything that you can pull off of that that's at a lesser cost, it takes your time away from doing the things that bring in the biggest dollars. It's time to offload a little bit. People, oh no, I want to give it that personal touch. Then find somebody to do some of the other things so that you can do more personal touches if that's what's important. And you think that's the key to your business. But are you still being the QuickBooks person? Are you still, going to Starbucks and getting your own coffee? What can I had that one guy I was telling you about, known him forever. He said, Rich, I have someone who comes in and preps my meals every single week. I spend so much time as a single guy making my meals. It gives me 10 hours more per week, and I get healthier meals. And, when I'm done working, I just want to eat and not spend any more. And, he's been doing this for years. As a matter of fact, y'all just retired. I'm jealous of him. Very few people get to the end of their time, but y'all trades, people understand. A lot of our people have a lot of different things. He's an actual day trader. He's done that for years. He's got multiple properties, develops land.
Heck yeah, that's awesome.
And I'm like, he's the one who was telling me about, how he switched up his realtor talk. And he said they loved it because it was now about them.
Mm-hmm.
Not about take this and use it to go get more people. You will be attracting people like a magnet because your language that you're going to use on some of your social media, especially if you go get your own, you are a pro after one because you've gone through the worst one, which is the first one.
Yep.
My life changed a lot after I started doing investment properties, flipping properties. It's a whole different world, but it's part of within the don't just think Fannie, Freddie, HELOCs. There is a whole nother world out there. Ask the Adam Stevens and you got Ollie, Hano. Like these guys are top producers and they live in that realm.
Yeah.
It's just amazing to me. Look, I've taken a lot of your time. I'm going on 40 minutes. I knew it was going to go. We went off script, which is the best way to go with you. I'll tell you right now.
There's so much I want to say. And I know we could have like 3 podcast episodes, Matt.
Well, we'll definitely circle back.
Yeah. I'll say one more kind of closing remark.
Go ahead, please.
I want to kind of throw this out there. So, I was, to be honest, I was surprised. I don't pay attention to numbers. I truly don't. I don't look at where I'm at in the roster. So when I got that list, I legitimately was surprised.
Okay.
So the reason why I say that is because I'm CRM now, but I protect I spent years developing, so I'm not actively pursuing. Okay. But I protect my agents. If they get deals, they're taken care of. My team takes care of them. So that's going to run, but it runs itself now, which is a huge blessing. Okay. The reason why this is the case is because of the little things that I did over and over and over. The cards, the gifts, the weekly phone calls, the video messages to realtors. I never let up. And I did that so consistently, Rich, for years. It created this run itself machine where I can still have some deals come through and I really don't think about them. That's amazing. But it took a lot of sacrifice and a lot of time. So I'm just going to re-harp on this, guys. I'm all CRM, but my business is intact because of all the work and sacrifice I did in the past, whatever that is, 7-8 years. Don't overlook the small things. Don't not send a 30-second video to your realtor because it's just a 30-second video. Don't do that. I had a realtor that literally called me after a deal. I remember the road I was on, which is kind of weird, but I literally remember this because it was a crazy phone call. She called me and said, "How'd you do that?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Dude, you closed so fast. You communicate to her." She's like, she wanted to meet with me. Now that's rare, Rich.
Right.
But it would not have happened if I wasn't consistent. So I could take a whole hour on that, Rich, and I apologize, but I just don't sleep on the little stuff, guys. Hit on that. You listen to Stephanie's, listen to these other episodes, apply them and trust the process. You won't see it overnight. You won't even see it over a month. You may, but you really probably won't. It takes time, but eventually you look back in a year or so and you're like, holy crap, well, my life has changed. And I'm glad I did that. So
I'll tell you what, your student, there are going to be people that are going to hit me up and say, gosh, if he would ask her if she ever wanted to do an interview to say it from the other side of how coaching has changed her life and got her to change over and how hard that was. I'd love to interview that because we have 300 loan officers that like it probably any organization, but 300 loan officers that could really use something. The top 300 supplied 90% of the business. The bottom 300 supplied 10%.
Crazy.
I'm trying to even that out, but to do it across the board means I'm going to help the top producers too, but they might end up with 4 or 5 more loans where the bottom might end up with 1 more loan. But my goal is to take our average from, if we're doing 626 a month and we have 626, that's a 1-to-1 ratio, but I want to get to a 2-to-1 ratio.
Yeah.
Look, anybody can go to a 2-to-1 ratio when the rates are 4.5%.
Yeah.
I mean,
you should be a
but
3-to-1
in this market, if nothing's going to change, I know there's business out there. I see people doing it. We have those people here. It's not like something we hear about. No, they're right here doing it. It's not a legend. They are legends, but it's real. These people exist, and they're doing something different with the same licenses that you also possess, but something is different. And if you're willing to pay attention and get outside your comfort zone in most cases, I'll tell you what, you can't do anything when you wake up in the morning saying, oh, I don't know that I can do that. Instead, I would rather you say, you know what, that's not my strength, but I sure as hell am going to dig it. Like you said, she just said, yes, what do? I'll do it.
Dude,
that's not easy. I get it. Not even with me.
You know how many times I said, dude, I can't tell you how many times I said the phrase, screw it. When I'd get in my car and I was scared, screw this. And I just walk in the realtor office, just do it. Like, just do it. Doesn't matter. Don't even prep. People will look at realtors for 30 minutes before the phone call. Don't look them up at all. Call them. Just dial. Force it. And if it rings, you got to talk now. And if you don't just say, something's coming out of your mouth. It's the best way to learn. My sticky note on my computer is you do great things by doing the things that scare you. It's very true. Mm-hmm. It's, trust me, I may seem like an extrovert.
I think that sticky note was there a year ago, so it hasn't moved in a year.
I'll never leave. No. And it's like, yeah, like I was saying, I'm really an introvert if you think about it, but you may not see this on the podcast, but it's not easy to go out to a realtor's office. It took time.
Oh, no.
But I was scared. Dude, picture sweating. I'm nervous, man. Like, but you just whatever. Just go and do it, and then something happens. It's pretty cool. We got another podcast, man. I have so much to say. This is a lot of fun.
And then I think we need to talk about it. We call it the JFDI, just effing do it mentality, because there's a crazy side to that, and then there's just it's time to stop being lackadaisical about something definitive that you're saying, I want to be a loan originator. Well, maybe we need to start with, what's your definition of a loan originator? Because I'll tell you what, Stephanie Gilbert probably has a very definitive answer to that question that might blow your socks off, but she feels like a failure when she does less than 10. Can you imagine that thought process?
I know. So, listen to Stephanie. Listen to Brandy's. I love Brandy. Listen to all these top 20. I mean, it's gold. I think this is great. You're doing this, Rich. I think this is very generous of you. This is awesome.
All right. I'm going to close this out like I always do. Michael, thank you so much for your time. You're always a welcomed person on Mortgage Ballers, because so many people find value. And you're getting tougher and tougher. And a couple of years from now, you're going to just be one of those people that, hey, can I get on Michael's calendar within the next 6 months, because he's so sought after. But it couldn't happen to a harder working person. So congratulations on all your success now in 2 different realms. Not everybody's good at doing 2 different lanes, but still killing it on the loan side. Your entrepreneur side with the RAD CRM is doing phenomenal. I know a lot of people at our office use it and they love it. Just want to say thank you always, because I come away better after our conversations. But thank you so much for your time today.
You too, man. Thanks so much, Rich. Appreciate it.
All right. Like we always say when we bust out on the Mortgage Ballers, stay thirsty, my friends.